When I was 18, I got a vasectomy. I decided to get this because I knew in my heart of hearts that I wasn't built to be a father. And I know a lot of people always tell me, well, did you save some of your seed, some of your essence? Did you save some of yourself? I did. And it is frozen, and I'm fine with that. And I knew that I would need to freeze it because some people may see me as a future prospect and may want to buy it. However, I knew at a very early age that I was terrified of the idea of having a child. I wanted freedom and I wanted autonomy, and it is a very permanent and very efficient and safe way of birth control. Why did I get it so early, and why did the doctor allow me to do it so early? So let me explain how this all happened, a little bit of story from my life. When I was younger, I had discovered that something was mentally wrong with me, something was mentally deranged. I had also noticed that I was able to influence my peers and those around me. One time I had influenced my peers to do something dastardly diabolical that involved stealing and it involved debauchery. It was insane. And I looked at him and I said, "Why'd you do it?" He said, "Because you asked." I pondered that for a moment. I really thought about the implications of what I had done to that person. And I thought to myself, I don't want my child to meet somebody like me, and I don't want my child to become somebody like me that's okay with this. The world was too unfamiliar to me for me to be comfortable with having a child. I knew too much about the world. I knew the moral grayness of how the world operated, and I had understood something very mechanical about this world and how it operated, how easily it is to manipulate, how easy it is to destroy. And I couldn't comfortably, in the right of mind, bring a child into a world that is rising inflation, rising wars. It is turmoil. I could not give the gift of life to something or someone who I personally couldn't guarantee safety for. I'm very calculated, I'm very methodical, and I cannot, in good conscience, do something that's completely unplanned. And I also didn't want the possibility of somebody wanting a child with me and it being completely unplanned. Sometimes you're in the heat of the moment and you do not know what left from right, up and down is. And I had seen too many situations where single mothers ridicule and hate and curse out the name of the father. I do not want that. That is something I do not find as enjoyable. That is something I do not wish upon anyone in this lifetime, to not have both parents in the household and to have arguments and have a child that is forced with trauma. I could not comfortably bring that upon somebody who has not even existed yet. That is something I couldn't do. A lot of people have this mindset of, wait a minute, I want to continue my progeny. I think that mindset is selfish. I think if you want to be a parent, if you truly, with your whole heart, want to be a parent, do not look at it as the guise of, I want to continue my progeny. Look at it as, I value the ability to give life. I value the ability to raise something knowing that I may not have full control over it. I value that. I value the ability that I can bring life into this world and have no idea which direction that it could go in, whether that person wants to be an artist, whether they want to be trans, whether they want to be a Republican, liberal, whether they want to be contrarian, whatever they wish to do. And I will still love this child indefinitely. That is what it takes to be a parent. I did not have that in me. I do not. And my dad had told me that when he had his first child, that something mechanical in him broke down because he says he wasn't ready to be a parent, and that first child went through immense and amazing trauma. And I know that first child, and that first child is passed, but my dad is still alive. And he tried again with another, and that one moved away. And I do not want to be resented by my children. I don't want to bring generational trauma because I'm not healed, I'm not perfect. I don't want my child to have to deal with the nonsense of me going through my life. Some people say, oh, you'll buckle down when you have a kid. Not everyone does. I'm not mentally well. I'm not mentally okay. I'm not mentally there. And I doubt I ever will be. And by the time I am, I feel like it'll be too late. I will not have the vigor and energy of my youth. I don't have that. It's a large time commitment. It is an insanely large time commitment to have a child. It is something that I can't dedicate that much time to. It is something I can't really allow myself to take that much time away from me. That's 18 years. 18 straight years of raising somebody. Raising a child that will be half you and hopefully half the person you love and decide to spend the majority of your life with. That is the hope, but that is not always the reality. I had treasured the idea of a nuclear family for so long, but I had no idea what that was. Every nuclear family I saw, the dad was an alcoholic, the mom was a secret smoker, the children off to do whatever they want to, becoming destructive recluses, destroying every facet of what their family was, and it's always some hidden lore, uncles touching children, things of that variety, fathers being obsessed with daughters because they're like younger versions of their mothers, so much disgust, so much anger, so much vitriol. I couldn't take it. I don't have it in me to do that. I don't have it in me to go through that journey, that battle, and that struggle, because I'm weak. I'm weak. And I'm okay with being weak. Another benefit I saw in this aspect: women get IUDs. IUDs can destroy their hormones, can mess them up. It's a piece of copper lodged inside of them. Wouldn't it be so courteous and so kind of me if I simply took out that whole middle process and middleman? If I did it myself? That is what I wanted. I wanted the woman to have the option to not destroy her entire autonomy, her uterus being destroyed in all aspects, and me just getting a simple snip of my vas deferens. That's all it took. Something easy, something simple. The cost of a child is something I also considered when I got the vasectomy. I thought to myself, do I really want to spend all this money on a child, deciding a school district, being friends with kids who I don't know, those kids potentially having fathers who I don't want to be friends with, and them being misogynistic, and their mothers potentially doing horrible things, and my daughters being bullied at school, and I have to deal with that, and I have to level through that? I don't have the patience. I don't. If I wanted to go out and drive to North Carolina right now, I have that freedom. If I had a 2-year-old or a 1-year-old, I couldn't be able to do that. I couldn't do that. I couldn't use my freedom that I have expressly given to me by my parents. I couldn't use that. And it's not like I'm missing out on raising a child. I have nieces, I have nephews, I have children who, for the most part, I've raised. Children who I've witnessed, diapers that I've changed, and generationals of homework that I've done, and high school kids. And I'm a great uncle at this current standpoint in time. I'm a great uncle. My niece has a child. And I have the ability to go see that child at my own discretion, at my own freedom. It is so much more relieving to be in parts and pieces of a child's life. Some people say the joy of being a parent, the joy of doing this, but the joy of being a parent is sucked out completely from me because the anger of the world will happen to my child. The politicians, the companies, the manipulation, the other children. It's like when you're driving. You know you're a good driver. You're not concerned about your driving for the most part. You're worried about everyone else. That's where the issues come in. When you factor in all these other people, when you factor in all this terrifying, disgusting ego that happens, all this fear and hunger for people trying to use your child, trying to vie for your child's attention, all these advertisers, all these people trying to ruin the aspects of what makes your child specific and unique and different to the world. That is what I fear. I fear that I may not have the ability to navigate my child in a world that doesn't care about him or her or they or them. My child will not have that ability because I do not know if I am ready for that. They say when you have a child, that's when you know you're ready. I cannot possibly, in good conscience, do that. I cannot possibly allow myself to be like that. There are too many unknown factors, too many unknown things, and I enjoy the aspect of knowing ahead of time. I do not go to a party where it's formal and come dressed in white beater and sweats and think, oh, I'll just get along with everybody. That is not how it operates. There has to be a plan. And there's a certain beauty to being a parent, a certain beauty to watching this child grow, a younger version of yourself, a smaller you, a little piece of you put into it. You feel like you actually left a memory and mark on this world. And I understand that the generational legacy of leaving an infallible mark, a generation that may occur and continue, as if you're leaving something that will be remembered and you will be remembered. But think about this for one moment. Do you know your great-grandparent? Do you know your great-great-grandparent? Do you know their name? What was their maiden name? Do you have any idea? I don't. And I thought about that as well. I thought about every possibility, every single thing, all of it, every single tiny, minute detail you could possibly fathom, and I had that all figured out by 18. So I go to Planned Parenthood, because Planned Parenthood is, as Dave Chappelle famously said, for people that don't plan their parenthood. I went there, and they recommended me a great doctor, and it was amazing. It was simple. I got the reversible kind as a just-in-case precautionary, so it's not fully done, but still, it is so refreshing to not have that fear looming in the back of my skull, that because I want to expel pleasure from my body, a child may be born from my moment of ignorance and pleasure, and I'll have to make a large commitment, and a woman may have to get a plan B or get an abortion or something of that variety, and that is devastating on a woman's psyche, mental and physical. I don't want to do that to somebody that I love. That is weird, that is disrespectful, it is selfish. But I envy you all, people who probably are never going to get a vasectomy, who want to continue their progeny. I am proud of you for wanting to continue your life in a child. I'm so happy you want to do that. It is not for me. So that is why I got a vasectomy at 18.